Welcome back to the Rise with Anita Podcast, or welcome if you're new here. I just want to start off by saying if this is your first invitation into this conversation, you are absolutely in the right place because I truly come from the belief that the conversations we are meant to hear always find a way to find us. So today I'm really excited about this conversation because the woman I'm about to introduce isn't someone who just teaches transformation. She's someone who's actually not only lived, but is living it. Jessica Rae Stahlbaum, I probably still said that wrong, I'm sorry, is a transformational mentor, digital entrepreneur, and devoted mother. But more than anything, she is a woman who chose to trust herself when it could have been easier not to. There was a time she followed the path she believed would create safety, the one that many of us are taught to walk. But something deeper perhaps knew that she was meant for more, that there was a calling greater in her, and instead of silencing that voice, she listened. She tuned in, and she chose to step outside of the conventional model to build a life that is rooted in truth, freedom, alignment, and it's not just for herself, but for her beautiful family. Today, Jessica guides women back to their inner authority, helping them reconnect with who they are, expand what they believe is possible, and create lives and income that actually reflect the women they are becoming. Her work is a reminder that when a woman chooses herself, she doesn't just change her life, she changes what's possible for everyone watching her. Jess, I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm honored.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I've been doing this practice with my guests. So, are you willing and open to take a breath with me?
Of course. Absolutely.
Beautiful. And this, if you're listening to this, I take a quick little breath break is what I call it. It's a transition breath. And we are going to just take that into practice right now. So if you're sitting and able, just be aware of your feet on the ground. Close your eyes. Slowly inhale for 4. Hold for 6. And slowly exhale through your mouth for 8. And as you exhale, let go of anything that might be clogging your energy today. And we're going to run that back one more time. Slowly inhale for 4. Hold for 6. Exhale for 8 through your mouth, feeling grounded, guided, and rooted in the present moment. Welcome back, beautiful. So I always start off my podcast with a specific question that does not start off with your resume. What is bringing you joy in this current season?
Honestly, I love that question. What's bringing me joy is partially rooted in this season of staying aligned with me. So what's bringing me joy is that I'm finally seeing myself win in all aspects of life, and it's because of the choices that I made.
Beautiful. I'm curious, what is something that speaks to you as to why you would decide to make the jump that you did? And for those of you who don't know, she has an incredible story to tell if you want to go ahead and share it.
I do. So what made me basically
make the jump? Mm-hmm.
Make the big jump. So full notes on my story for your followers. I am a single mom. I have been for many years, and my boys are now almost 8, and the oldest is 10. So we are in a small little farm town, and we were in a situation of that we didn't have any support. So we came back here to have support because I don't have any of my close family around me. And I was working with women online. I had already left my career in the spa industry. I'd hung up my tools. I was already taking and moving in the path of my purpose of helping and leading women online in their journeys and transformations. But with my life transitions and us moving around a lot, it the fears started to creep in, and it pushed me into doing what I was told I should be doing, or the more responsible path, right? And that really didn't work for me. It wasn't even helping me get in a more stable financial situation, quite honestly. So I'm like, well, then what am I doing here? Why don't I take the lead and control of my destiny and for my family back into my own hands? So I gave my notice to my job. I officially left that industry for good, and now I'm here. Like, I just couldn't. It just was not. It was not fulfilling me in any way. Doing what I was doing, I was feeling more and more depleted, and I always knew, I'm like, I need to be following this path. I need to be following my purpose. Like, so why am I not doing this? Who says I can't? So I'm like, we're gonna do it. Gave my notice. Done. Here we go.
So I'm just curious. I firstly want to acknowledge how freaking incredibly badass you are to step up and to just be like, you know what? I am going to do this. Why not me? And so I'm curious, though, as you were actually taking the action, did you have those moments of like, oh my God, what am I actually doing? Or were you so convicted in what it is that you're building that you were like, no, I've got this? Did you find yourself wavering, essentially, at all?
A little bit, but I would say 5 years ago, back in the beginning, I wavered a lot more, and hence it took me on the path it did. This time around, though, I would say I definitely led with a lot more conviction from the years of all the self-work I've done and the transitions, and I've seen myself rebuild so many times. I'm like, I have all the strength and everything within me. So I would definitely say I led a lot more with conviction this time. But there's definitely been wavering thoughts, because like entrepreneurship and leading yourself goes in waves, as you know. Like, so it was about a month ago, you know, I was all in on this, and I was all in on that, and I was piecing everything together, and quickly I was like, but like the income doesn't come immediately, right? It's like it's the path of like planting the seeds, right? So like, yeah, there's those moments, because like there's still bills to pay, there's still all the things, right? And I was having moments of like, how is this going to work out? But then I just always go back to my rooted belief of something greater is taking care of everything, and it always does. So when I just really root back into my trust and faith and surrender it to God, and it always works out. And it does, and it has. It has.
Beautiful answer. I can relate. And, you know, I want to acknowledge something, because you have immense courage to do what you did. I, on the other hand, and I think I've shared this with you, but for those who are new here to this platform or are hearing my part of the story for the first time, I had been doing what Jess was doing, which was I had a very corporate stable life. And then I was building my soul's work on the side. And if we were being honest, a lot of times it was like I was putting 60 hours into someone else's dream, and whatever scraps I had left at the end of the weekend was what I would put into mine. And I was starting to be depleted, let's just be honest here, because there's only so much energy you have in a day and a week. And when you're doing something that your soul feels misaligned from, was honestly the phase of like, how am I going to do this? I have a house, I've taken this responsibility, I'm taking care of family. And so while I don't have kids, I had all these quote unquote reasons that sounded logical. And I was just so timid and again, I'm still 31. So I have a lot of life I have not lived, is the way I will put it. I've seen a lot of life, but I've also had moments of aspects that I have not lived yet. And so for me, the concept of just going all in, burning boats, I was like, that is irresponsible, right? Because you have to know your personality type. And so I thought the stable corporate thing was like the way to go. Until it wasn't, because I got laid off. And it was one of the biggest nervous system ego hits I've had. Because if you think that you are the best of your game, and I was pretty high up there. I was churning and burning premium, and I was doing all the things, and they still let me go. And it was this one moment that literally hit me back where I was like, oh my gosh, it's not as stable as I thought. Because here I am thinking, oh, I got a steady paycheck. I know where the money's coming from. I know how to get my bonuses. And then all of a sudden, my walls literally in an instant flipped on me. And that was where I became the pivot point of like, I cannot go back to this. Because I will never allow someone else to have control over my future again. And so I just want to acknowledge that you didn't wait for someone to lay you off or to choose not to. And I'm sure you've had probably those instances in your life where you've already learned that lesson. But for me, it was like, people think it's stable. And that was what I was taught. And like, when we go back to intention and like lessons, I just did a podcast episode that was beautiful about inner child healing and the lessons that we're learning as we are reworking ourselves. And it's like we realize like the old system doesn't always work, especially if you're a creative, especially if you're someone who's in this like soul driven economy is the way I'll put it.
Yeah, I can fully relate to that. Like I did have that moment of like, oh crap, which was during the pandemic, because being in the spa industry here in Canada, in Ontario, we were shut down and locked down 4 times. There was 4 times I was forced and not able to work at all. And I had young kids. So but that was similar to our mentors. Like the pandemic gave me a moment of clarity. And I was like, I was falling out of love for my careers to begin with. I had done it for so many years. I was just ready for the next step. I didn't know what that was, but I was just like, that moment of clarity told me that, I have other gifts I have so many gifts within me. Some learned from my career, some learned from my life experience, that I could be helping in a much bigger and deeper way, a much bigger impact. And so that's when I started on that path. But then, like I said, life just deterred me there for a moment. But now I just know it more than ever that I'm in the right place and I'm doing the right thing. And it's still scary. Every day is still scary. I still got bill collectors calling and things like that. Like, I'm not in that place yet, but I'm on the path and I am so certain of it. And that is the difference. I didn't have the certainty back then, but because of all the work I've done and because of keeping rooted in my faith, I have that certainty. And that's how I lead now. I don't ask for the what ifs anymore. I'm just like, no, we just follow his plan, because when we make plans, we laugh and it doesn't go that way anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it just reminds me of like how many times you think you have like the whole thing like step by step figured out. And then you look at the way it unfolds, and even if it does go to quote unquote plan, it changes and it's not the exact same outcome. And so it's like, how do I anchor that back into releasing control? Which brings me to another question, which is, how do you move now that it's not when you're in that transition of going from employee to now I am the breadwinner, I am the one who's going to find the income, I am the one. how did you transition that hat for you, and what does it look like to have that trusted guidance that you're going to listen to whatever's coming for you, whatever's pulling at you now?
That's a great question. So,
yeah,
I love it. So I do move differently because of being rooted in myself now. So we're good.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear that? Because I'm hearing it back.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So going through it, for me, I just had to really myself in a certain, and to just literally turn the boat as I had. I was going to go back. So I literally leave at a moment that it was like, you are crazy. Like, I had to visit myself to show up different. Not as an employee, not as a structure. I had to breathe structure I did today. Redo our whole daily routine with the kids. They go home and do this here. So I still moved the way I moved, but it was fun. I just had to figure out what works in our family and make sure I'm going to do something that moves me always
and working in my business each day.
Beautiful. That's a very beautiful answer. And honestly, I think that's the biggest part of like swapping from an employee mindset or like whatnot, because I know for me when I started transitioning, and I still have moments where I'm absolutely crap at it, because the days can, if you're not in control of your day, it can get away from you. And so it's that conscious like, okay, I'm going to actually try to stick to my time block. And sometimes it's not perfect, but I'm going to give myself grace, and I know the outcome I'm after. And it's like, you have to flip that mindset of like, what is the outcome? What is the target? Not necessarily task-driven momentum that you're trying to chase. Because we can all do things that feel quote-unquote productive that aren't actually moving the needle forward in business. So,
I had a really lesson that like, the business wasn't what forward. I had to learn in my business what really built, right? And it's going to set up. I had to really pass from what that opened. So that is a constant having to let go of what the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So many women say they want them to trust themselves, but they don't actually feel safe doing it yet. What, in your definition, would self-trust really look like beyond just a concept?
Well, that is a really hard one for a lot of women. It's still a work admittedly, for sure. Trusting yourself always to hold and all on your own is heavy. And I know that's why from it before. I didn't have that before. So, sorry, I asked one thing. How women, like instead of the concept of like how do you get to this?
What does it really look like for you?
What does it really look like? So for me, awareness, really having awareness of who I am, how I move, how I think, and being aware of those thoughts that do not serve, and then they creep in. So being aware of them, them, and then choosing a more productive thought or better thought that's going to help center me and give back that service. So it's just kind of like making things better, but then moving through that even with affirmation. Simple affirmation. I'm worthy. Like simple. So it's taking a moment of awareness, acknowledging it, and then reading that belief.
Beautiful. I just wanted to ask, because you have the perspective of a mother. So what does rebuilding self-trust as a mom look like? Because once kids enter the picture, I feel like it's a whole new level of game.
It really is. I think first of all, your trust is like it's alive. That's a big deal. Like every day, I'm like, 1 minute, you're still alive. They're healthy. Oh my God. I still struggle with that one. Having stress as a parent, that was a little more challenging. It really is. Just trusting that you're guidance, that you're not jamming their little minds, sponges. As a parent, what I do is I kind of back into my own life about like how I was. How did that turn out? How did this turn out? Okay, let's try this. This is more aligned with you raising children. So awareness of what I experience and what I see with others. Just how different it was the world now is just so different. So it's again awareness and kind of redirect a little bit about our they understand. We're not confused.
Beautiful. And I love that you keep bringing up awareness. I think that is actually probably the word of the day. Is it all starts with awareness.
It really does.
Awareness and intent is my two big words.
I was very delusional for a long time. But when I got intentional, you can't help but be aware of your surroundings and everything.
Interesting. So I'm curious, though, as someone who's walking this beautiful balance of creating a life that they love while empowering and loving and leading little humans. What does... Obviously, I don't really believe that there's such a thing as work-life balance. I feel like it's more about integrating. So I know that this is still a newer journey for you, but I'm curious in your perspective, what is a way that you see yourself integrating your family into your work? And what is it that you're hoping that they're actually watching and learning that you might not have had that experience of growing up yourself?
So what I hope that they is just my determination and my independence to not give up on myself. I want them to see that their mom is someone that, you know, if you do it, if you can do all this, that they can. I want the ultimate role model for them. That they can build themselves to be whatever they want. They do not have to dictate to or told by they want to do. And by shadowing me and watching me, they do that.
Beautiful. I love that. I think there's something so amazing about watching, especially a single mom. Shout out to my single mamas, because as you guys know, or if you're new here, you don't, but I was raised by a single mom who's what I call the most passionate, persistent little 4'11" thing ever. Actually, she's the 3 Ps. Petite, passionate, and persistent.
Perfect.
There you go. You just added a 4th. I'm sure she'll love it. And so, but when we think about it, patterns are not taught. They're actually caught. It's not just about what you say to a child. It's what you actually are living and embodying and how you show up. So when you are actually telling them, go chase your dreams, and in light of that, you are actually following your soul's path. You are following your dreams. You're no longer just saying it. You're going, okay, I'm walking this path. I am showing you it's possible. Here's what you can do now. And it's a totally different switch. And I want to acknowledge that because I think it's so incredible. And if you actually look at it, some of our most successful people were raised by single mamas.
Right?
I mean, I think there's a method to it. I'm just saying.
There's definitely a method to it. But yeah, it is. It's the whole monkey do. It's simple as that, really. Like, we all learn from watching, from seeing around us. So when this things like when you're social proximity and you're in family, or in your school, and naturally they're going to come and follow those others. So that is why I'm so break those generational patterns and show them something different. In this world, is absolutely crazy. So it's going to be the way of the world. We are going to have to take those of our own minds.
Absolutely.
So I really want to understand that. That's the way I do it.
Beautiful. And especially with the increase of AI, it makes me like look at it. It's not necessarily scary because I do believe in conscious AI, and that's a thing.
Yeah.
And how we can use it to like better our lives, better our businesses. But I look at it, and I was just at a summit, and the speaker goes, my kids are likely never going to have to learn how to drive a car because he has like a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old and like a 2-year-old. And I'm sitting there going, holy crap, all I wanted to do when I was a kid is learn how to drive a car. And like with technology, obviously, like we do have like the Teslas that can self-drive, and you have the Waymos and whatever else. And I'm going, holy crap, what an increase. And so it's rapidly changing. And so I think our jobs as parents, as leaders, as people guiding this next generation, not that I'm a parent yet, Lord willing one day, is how do we adapt to the change without losing the soul in the process? And that is what I'm still trying to figure out. I don't have the answers.
I don't have the answer. It's like you don't have to take like you don't.
Yeah.
There's no manual to prepare you for it.
Exactly.
We just have to. I think it's more important to have a positive fast that we really have to get aware of. I'm sorry to say this word again, but I think it's so important right now that we have to know what is around. Stay tuned in. I don't watch the news for a reason, but I stay tuned in to know what happens. And I do have showing our children to stay tuned in. And it's really very fascinating. And if we can up that, we do the best we can.
So shifting gears, you talk a lot about identity shifts. Double entendre there. What is the difference between changing just a habit and actually shaping your identity?
So we can change habits. We can, change
switch out one test for say a healthier habit. That's just something whereas switching or adapting to a new is you're embodying everything that identity, not just the habits, the thoughts you have, the way you decide, decisions you make is a huge part. Comes from that identity of the person that you are becoming, or your higher self, whatever you want to call it, right? So switching a habit is relatively easy. That's just, it's productive, and it does help aid in the change and transition into a new identity. That's part of it. But identity is really embodying that full belief of who you are and what you're rooted in, and how you think and how you act and how you decide.
Okay, so what is the difference between embodiment and just the art of trying is what I'll call it.
Or like the fake it till you make it kind of?
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to get at. The fake it till you make it, where you don't quite feel it, but you're doing the actions, you're attempting, but you still haven't felt that internal shift.
I think when you're still in that part, the fake it till you make it, if you're still kind of in that era, you haven't fully transitioned your thinking and belief system of who you are. So you're still believing, for example, I was a smoker. I've been quit for almost 25 years now. But
massive props.
When I made, it'll be 20 years next year. So when I went from being a smoker to a non-smoker, that was also a shift of identity. Part of that process for me, when I was doing it, was rewiring my brain that I'm a non-smoker, that I'm not, it's really rewiring your belief system in yourself of who you are. So yeah, you can act, you can model, you can do all the things, but it's more the belief system. It's more the internal
dialogue
or belief and dialogue that really separates the two.
Beautiful answer. I'm curious, in your perspective with the women you've worked with and you've seen in your circle, what is one identity women are unconsciously holding themselves to that keeps them stuck?
The victim mentality.
Oof.
Yeah. I know, it's a hard one. I know, but it's so true.
I love you.
I only say it because I lived it, and I've seen it, and that's what I commonly see. I was actually having a conversation with someone today, and I could just see it in between the lines and how she spoke, and it's the victim mentality, because I think especially as women, we were, a lot of us, raised to kind of be under men, be not lesser, but that we have to abide. There was a lot of cultures kind of play a part in that. And I'm not saying it's wrong to have those different, ideas of roles in culture, but I think because it's been like that for so long, and where women have been placed, it becomes almost a comfort to stay in that victim mode, and it's because we are constantly fed the fear of that we're not enough, that we're not able to do things on our own. So it just kind of like our society and everything around us, and the conditioning that we have, I feel, really does play a big part in keeping us small, keeping us fear-based minded, and then therefore stuck in this victim mentality, like, oh, well, it's me, I can't do this because again, it's a belief system. I was stuck in for the longest time. Yeah, it's a hard one to shift out of. I'm not going to lie. But I think that's the biggest one that we have a hard time with.
It definitely is. I love that you went here because it also brings up that perspective of like, how has whatever happened to me happened not to me, but for me.
That's right. That's right. That was the biggest shift I had to go through. Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to get caught up. And like, even me, I had this situation that's been triggering me for almost a week now. And I recognize it has nothing to do with the person. The person is just playing a mirror. And I literally was going through 2 days ago. And I don't know if you've ever tried the David Guillaume AI. But I was sitting there and I was like, I have this trigger. This person really has no idea they are triggering me right now. Because it's nothing that was inflicted. It was all internal. And so I recognize that because of how much work I obviously do on myself. And I was like, these are my patterns. What about this person and this situation? What am I missing? The disconnect here. And it got me to, oh, in this instance, it's reminding you of your dad. And I was just like, oof, okay. See, I knew it wasn't the person because at least I had the awareness that everything is a mirror for you. And so I had this moment this morning, actually, where I was sitting here and I'm like, I did not wake up this morning feeling the absolute abundance of gratitude. And I would like to say as a coach that every morning I wake up and it's like, yes, I'm grateful for the sunrise and thankful for my breath. And those are all true. But I am also human. So sometimes I wake up and I'm just like, I don't feel anything today. Like, I just feel
I wanted to go back to bed. I was like, I got up this morning. I totally forgot that I committed to walk with my friend this morning. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to drop the kids off. And I'm just going to go lay back in bed just for a little bit longer. And then she sends me this text. I'm like, no, we're going walking. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, we're human. We do have human things.
Absolutely.
That go on, but yeah, but what's important is that we keep the baseline of our mentality and our mindset,
right,
and the awareness.
So what I did after that, because I woke up and it was the same thing. I did not feel like adulting at all today. I was like, I have a jam-packed day. It's a long day. It's gonna go all the way to like 9 at night. I have to be on. There's a lot of humans I'm going to be interacting with because I'm going to be out at a networking event, and so I had all these. Because it's just my schedule lately has been like on and on, and so I had to step back and I was just like, okay. And then I had that situation that was triggering me for a few days. I literally had to sit there and go, okay, what are you grateful for? And then I had this moment where I was like, I'm actually kind of grateful that I'm triggered right now. Like, which is like, if you're listening to this and you're new to it, you're gonna go, you're grateful for a trigger. I'm grateful for the challenges. I am grateful for the messy middle. Yeah. I am grateful for actual beautiful moments. I am grateful for the connections. In fact, I had a moment where I was like, I am grateful for the person who's triggering me.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful and so a big part of that transition. When you know you're growing, you're growing into when you're being triggered, when you can see that awareness that mirror is being held up and it's giving you the opportunity. These are opportunities for us.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a really big one real quick because I really only have about 15 minutes. So during the pandemic, is this powering off? I know this one powered off. Oh, I just listened to one. So during the pandemic, real quick, I was targeted and scammed online. And during it, thankfully, I caught it real quick, and I didn't get into any serious stuff. But in that moment, the first, once I realized what had happened, it literally took me to my knees. I think it was down on the floor for half an hour, just what? so once I worked through the grieving part and kind of going through all that process of understanding why this happened for me, it really was like, why did this happen for me? And there's a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of reasons. And now I can absolutely say, and I have for already years now, I can absolutely say I'm so grateful for that experience. It was really crappy and really scary. I'm grateful for the breakdown of my relationships with my kids' fathers. They were really scary. They were really scary, especially the one. But I am so grateful for it. Like you have to get to that, because you know it's happening for you. Like all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's all happening for you. And when you can sit with that, that is what gives you peace. That's what gives you inner peace. Absolutely. It's not forgiving them for what they did or blah blah blah. Forgiveness is a big thing too, yes. But it's being grateful that everything is happening the way it is, so that you can have your peace. And that is what I am so strong at, is protecting this inner peace, because I work so dang hard for it.
Beautiful answer and share. I think it's funny because a lot of times, and again, you don't feel it always in the moment. Like, I can honestly say I had a moment where I was like, this individual is triggering me, and I literally, it was just off a single text message. Off of one text message, I spent a good hour spiraling. And I was like, okay, technically, I don't really know the tone, because I personally hate text messages. I don't know how that makes sense given my age, but for some reason, I think because I like to hear and sense a person of what they say, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. So text messages, you can have any interpretation of a text. And so I found myself triggered over this text. And in that moment, I can guarantee you I was not thankful that I was triggered over this text. But I had so much work that I've done that I realized, firstly, it shouldn't be bugging me this much. But secondly, what is it about it? And then I started recognizing these patterns of like, oh, I want to flee. I want to just ghost. And I was like, hold on. This is not this person's fault. This is my own wiring. And then I had to sit there going, ooh, there are things about my father that I could point at. And this is, again, that victim mentality, right? I could blame and go, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And maybe he didn't. But at the same time, if I choose to carry his patterns, that's a choice. And so I had to like stop myself for a moment and be like, ooh, okay. All right, I'm very activated right now. How do I pause? And I constantly talk about taking a pause. So I'm just curious, as you're in this entrepreneur journey, what does taking a pause look like for you? Whether that's just from being in an activated state or feeling overwhelmed, what does it look like?
Oh, depends on the day. But for, I would say what gets me most activated is my kids. They are, literally, kids are your biggest teachers. Like, talk about holding a mirror up every day.
Well, everything is a mirror, right?
Yeah, everything's a mirror. But I tell you, your kids are really good at it. Yeah, like, so how, I think it's just, like, how I move through it. I just take a moment. I just take that pause to just be with myself and be with my thoughts. I've learned a great modality of the tapping to move the emotions out and to speak it out, called RRT, rapid
release therapy.
Yeah. So I learned that a few years ago, and that helps me move through those emotions, because if you don't move the emotions through you, that's why it is so good for us to feel, because it is an actual chemical happening. Yeah. You have to move them out, or they stay stuck, and then they get re-triggered. Like so, you have to go through that act. I do that when I'm like really heavily triggered, so I help move through those emotions. When I'm overwhelmed, I usually actually will reach out to a friend. or a mentor or someone that can just kind of reground me, you know, like someone that I can just really vent to be honest. I think sometimes we just really, that's just getting it out is the best therapy ever.
Absolutely.
So,
but I do say, if you're listening to this, you have to be conscious of who you're venting to. Because,
of course.
And I'm not speaking this on just what you're saying, but generally speaking, I found that if you're not aware of who you're speaking your downfalls to, it might lead into, instead of helping you just release, they plant further doubts or they plant further seeds that make you question yourself. So just keep that in mind. But what I love about what you said is how you released what's coming up for you, especially because when I think about having kids, and this is actually something I've asked people who do have children, because you have to kind of create this separation is kind of the way I imagine it, because you don't want what you're feeling or going through necessarily to transmit to them. So it's like, I'm curious, how do you catch that when you are having an off day, and how do you separate that for you? Do you get me?
Yep. So I will, and I've taught this to my kids as well, and I will, when we are all needing that separation or something, or I'm feeling that we need that, I just let them know, Mommy needs a moment. We need a moment just to be with ourselves and cope however is best for us. And then we regroup, and then I just come back to, okay, we've had a moment, so then we talk it out.
Beautiful. You are a aware parent.
Right.
Okay, so in my world, you already know this, but we talk a lot about nervous system regulation and how it determines what you're able to hold and receive, not just your desires. So what does expansion for you look like on the internal, not externally? I know that's a big question.
That's a thinker. Expansion from the inside, so regulating that nervous system. I think it's recognizing differences in my body, like feeling things in my body, feeling them come up, and not ignoring them, and then getting detective inward of why
the body
I'm
scan
feeling that way. Yeah, the body scan. Thank you. And okay, is this fear or is this excitement? Like, what is it exactly? So for me, it's more that, okay, listening to my body's reaction. It's reacting because our bodies are built to keep us safe, keep us alive, right? So I think it's just kind of doing that. It's just kind of like body scan. What's it trying to tell me? What's the truth about it?
Okay, so as we are getting close to wrapping up, and great answer, by the way, I loved it. Sorry, my brain is trying to keep you on schedule because you have kids to go pick up. But as we get close to wrapping up, can you share a little bit about your shift method and what it actually means?
Yeah, so I just started this framework. I called it shift, is making the shift, obviously. Making the shift between whatever transition that is for you, whether it's professionally, personally. And it's really, so the S, I can't even remember what all of them stand for, but I know like it starts with the awareness. So seeing, getting aware, doing that scan, doing that internal analysis. And what I do is I just help guide women through that process of seeing, being aware, how are they feeling about it, what is true for them, what do they want to be true for them? And just gently guiding them to their own answers. Because that's why I like to call myself a mentor more than a coach. The coach kind of tells you what to do and how to get there, whereas a mentor guides you through a journey to help you with your own answers that make sense for you, right? And so in this shift framework, we're just moving through that process of finding awareness and who you really are. And then the tangible shifts, okay, what do we need to put in place? But also more so, what do I need to believe about myself to make that transition?
Yes, love that.
So we probably spend the most time on that. What do I need to believe about myself?
Absolutely.
To make this transition.
Oh yeah, because that is the hardest part for any woman, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we've talked all about the things that you're cooking and doing. I'm curious though, as you are actually learning to make money online, what's a belief about money you've had to completely rewire?
I had to believe or rewire to the belief that it's not hard to make money.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm still working through that because my brain likes to complicate it.
Yeah, I was always told that you have to work hard to make good money. Or that you have to be incredibly intelligent to make good money. And neither are true.
Very true. Especially...
You have to just be you.
Ooh. I like that. You just have to be you to make money.
You are the secret sauce. Like literally.
Beautiful.
You're literally the sauce. So that was a big one to get through, but it's just, that's the truth. It's not hard to make money. You just have to align with the right path for you.
Okay, so as we wrap up, what do you want women, especially moms, to stop believing about what's possible for them?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my single moms. I want single moms to stop believing that they have to stay in a system that tells them how they need to move. Because that's what I was told. It's like, okay, if you're not going to do this route, if you're not going to work the job or do this, then you have to be in this pool where they can still dictate and regulate you.
Yeah.
No. No. I want women and moms to understand that, as our new friend Gogo said, there is no box. There is no box. You don't belong in a box. You do you. Don't let anybody else tell you.
Beautiful. And for the woman listening who's outgrown her current identity, what is one step she can practically take today to start shifting?
Make a decision that she knows her future self would make. It could be small decisions, but just start making decisions from that identity.
Beautiful answer.
Because as you start to do that, it just all starts to fall.
It's a ripple effect. Yeah, everything starts from a decision.
Mm-hmm. But deciding from a different place than what you normally would.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And for the woman who feels the pull, where can she connect with you and step into your world?
Thank you for offering. I hang out on Instagram and Facebook mostly. So my Instagram is truly.jessicarae. That's where you'll find me the most. You can always send me a DM there. Coach jessicarae@gmail.com. Another way. I hang out on Instagram mostly.
Beautiful. And we're going to end with a very quick fire round. Think one word to a single sentence, just whatever comes to mind. Are you ready for me?
I guess.
Recent book that you've read that's changed your life, or a book that's changed your life. Could be either or. Craig's doesn't count.
I was going to say, it is one. The reinvention formula, 100%. A lot of good nuggets. B by Jess Swig.
Ooh, I love that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Craig's too, but still.
I really connected to her way of thinking, and she is a prime example of shifting from like corporate to leading women, and how she did that. That was a beautiful read. That's a great book. And it's a very happy book. It's a very happy, like it really makes you feel good reading it.
Beautiful. Yeah. A word that describes your current season, and I'm going to discourage the word expansive. Get a little more creative.
Okay. A word for this season for me. Conviction.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to that because it is. I'm literally in this season, like everything I do, conviction.
Yes. Daily non-negotiable that fuels your power. With the exception of, please do not tell me you're brushing your teeth.
Good habit. Yeah, I love it. Honestly, for me, I ground myself. I have a chat with God for a few moments. Like, I mean, even just like 5 minutes, even just spieling off whatever I'm thinking. I stopped asking God because that was part of like knowing certainty. Because if I'm asking, that means that there's some doubt.
Nugget right there.
That's already done.
Nugget.
Yeah.
Song that instantly lifts your mood.
A song that lifts my mood? Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Lainey Wilson fan. So her 4x4 by You or Hang Tight Honey. I love them.
Cute. Best advice you've ever received in a sentence?
Oh, geez. Well, the first one that comes to mind is Craig's. If it's in you, it's required of you. It's fresh, but it's so good.
Yes,
so good. If it's in you, it's required of you.
I don't know why I had a feeling yours was gonna be. You had to. He's
had such a profound effect on my life. So I can't help it.
Likewise. So shout out to Craig Siegel.
Yeah.
And lastly, one thing you want women to stop apologizing for.
Stop apologizing for being the woman that you already are.
Beautiful answer.
You're perfect the way you are. Even if you want to become and transition into someone better or new or different, I want women to stop apologizing for who they are because they're worthy just as they are. Yeah.
I wouldn't say you're transitioning into different. I would say you're transitioning into what's actually inside of you. That's my only counter to that.
Beautiful. I love that. No, you are absolutely correct. Because it is. It's literally. It's more the embodiment than transition. It's literally remembering who you are.
Yes. Before you were told who to be.
To be somebody else.
Yes. So Jess, this conversation just felt like such a powerful reminder that the life we're being called into doesn't come from doing more. It comes from becoming more of who we truly are. And what I really love about what you embody is that you don't choose just a different path for yourself. You literally chose to become an example of what's possible. Not just for you, but for your children and everyone who's watching you on the sidelines. Because when a woman learns to trust herself, when she stops outsourcing her power and starts leading from within, everything begins to change. Not just externally, but in the way she lives, the way she leads, and the way she loves. So, I just want to thank you again. You are incredible and you inspire me every single day. And I want to commend you for making the changes that you're making, not just externally, but internally as well. You are so beautiful as a soul. And if this episode spoke to you, please send it to a woman who is ready to trust herself at a deeper level. And always, your next level is not something you chose, it's something you become. And I'll see you in the next episode.